Hello and welcome to the Skyworld channel. Today, I'd like to show you my little brother's new $750 budget 4K gaming PC. It's always been a dream of mine to make an affordable gaming PC that can run 4K games at a high frame rate, since 4 years ago, that same dream would have been possible, but only with a monster Extreme Edition i7, 4-way SLI GTX Titan Black, and 64GB of RAM gaming PC that would have costed you $20,000. Thankfully, due to technological advances, it looks like you can now build a budget gaming PC that can game in 4K, but for how much? However, the main highlight of this budget $750 gaming PC is that it has a purpose, which is that it was made for my little brother who wanted to get a replacement gaming PC for his older, slower one, and who also wanted to get into 4K gaming, so he could gorge his eyes out playing out Dark Souls and Forza at a very high resolution. So big shout out to my little brother for letting me toy around with this new gaming PC, which, let me just say for the record, if you're not a big brother of a little brother, you don't know how hard it is to let your little brother allow you to use his brand new gaming PC. Now, onto the gaming PC and what's inside of it, which first, let me begin with my list of requests that my little brother wanted me to have in his new $750 budget 4K gaming PC. Number one, and most importantly, he wanted to be able to run GTA 5 at 4K 60 frames per second, and knowing him, that was a pretty big one. Number two, he wanted to look cool enough at LAN parties to impress his friends. Understandable. And lastly, his budget was $800 or less. And yes, those were the exact goals that he had in mind for his new gaming PC. With those goals in mind, what is inside this budget 4K $750 gaming PC? First, for the processor, I chose the AMD Ryzen 1500X for $175. This is a quad-core processor based off of the Ryzen architecture and can turbo boost up to 3.7 GHz. My little brother is just going to be doing gaming on his gaming PC, so he doesn't need any more than 4 cores. But he did tell me that a high clock speed would be appreciated. Quite frankly, Ryzen CPUs right now have more value than their Coffee Lake counterpart chips, and even though the CPU can't overclock to 5.0 GHz, unlike its direct rival, the 8050K, at least doesn't have a backdoor breach that can completely compromise your system. At least for the rest of the parts, for the motherboard, I have the Gigabyte GA AB350 ATX motherboard, a very stylish black and red looking motherboard which I purchased for $70, and it gets the job done. For the RAM, I have a stylish single 8GB DDR4 stick of G.Skill Aegis RAM rated at 2133 MHz for $90. For the case, I chose the beautiful Phanteks Eclipse P400 tempered glass ATX mid tower in black and red for $60. And lastly, the Thermaltake Smart 600W 80+ Broads power supply for $45. Finally, for the graphics card, which is the most interesting part of this build, me and my little brother were able to snatch up a used NVIDIA GTX 980 for $260 off of eBay before the holiday season. In my opinion, going with a used 980 was a very smart choice, since brand new graphics card prices have been steadily rising, combined with those extremely valuable pre-holiday season deals on most used computer parts, since a lot of people usually sell their parts for cheap before the holidays so that they can afford other things, like adding more RX 580s to their mining rigs. The decision also to go with a used 980 over a new GTX 1060 was tough as well, since they were around the same price, but my brother wanted to game at 4K. And the 980 offered 4GB of VRAM over the 1060's 3GB of VRAM for about the same price, which is beneficial towards high resolution gaming. And plus, The 980 is overall a faster card than the 1060 with 3GB of VRAM for 4K gaming on top of that. And finishing things up for the storage, I went with a $45 Western Digital Blue 1TB hard drive. In the end, this budget 4K gaming PC build totals to $745, which was the price that we got for buying all the parts from November to December of last year. So thankfully, the price has stayed the same since then. So this PC has the looks, it has the brawn, but can it run Crysis? Or I mean, can it run 4K is what I meant to say. For that, I got an array of games, including some games my little brother specifically wanted to run on his brand new gaming PC at 3840 by 2160. The last thing to note is that since the GTX 9080 is such a great overclocking graphics card, I overclocked that bad boy to a plus 200 MHz core clock speed and a plus 350 MHz memory clock speed, which greatly helped out the benchmark scores you're about to see. Now, without further ado, let's get into the benchmarks. For $750, not bad. I mean, for real, I think this PC did a very good job for its value. Now, for those of you watching this video, debating if you should get this gaming PC and you know you're not going to be upgrading that 1080p or 1440p monitor that you're currently watching this video on, then completely ignore this system. It's too damn fast for 1080p or 1440p, as you'll see later on in the video. Just to remind you guys, all these benchmarks were done at 3840 by 2160, and if I tested this gaming PC at 1080p, say at its worst performing game, which in this case was PUBG, then the average frame rate is substantially higher, completely maxed out at 1080p. So don't call this gaming PC slow, because it's not. So was this budget 4K gaming PC for $750 a success? In my opinion, it hit the mark for a 4K capable gaming PC. The popular PC games I tested were perfectly playable at medium to high settings around the 50 FPS range, excluding PUBG. Now to my brother, I'm sorry that I couldn't get this PC to 60 frames per second at 4K in GTA 5 without completely bonking the settings, but I have an argument to that as to why that doesn't matter. I'm gonna sound funny when I say this, but this PC made 50 frames per second feel like the new 60 frames per second. It was that smooth. In my super budget PCs like Volt, 50 frames per second didn't feel smooth and at times had noticeable lag because of the low end parts. But this PC here, zero issues. I promise you, no matter the frame rate, this PC run games smoothly. PUBG, the worst performing game on this PC, as you can see here, and its recorded gameplay of it at 3840 by 2160 is lag-free at 30 frames per second. Anyways, thanks to sticking it to the end of the video, and for that, I've got a real treat for you. On the Scatterbolt Discord server, I'm hosting a game day that's gonna be going down at 12 PM PST every single Saturday, where you can play with me and other members of the server on games such as CSGO, GTA 5, Garry's Mod, and maybe even a PUBG custom server if we get that going.
So this race is going on my YouTube channel, so I need you guys to give me first place, okay?
I'm freaking coming for you, man.
Not gonna
You're
happen.
going
I'm not.
MCK.
No.
Dude, legit, my first PC
Big boy.
is
My
National
fir-
320.
My first PC was like some old Core 2 Duo.
Mine was
I
a
got
4350 and
I
an
went from
R990.
480p to 4K game.
Oh, dude, if we're talking like the my
bottleneck
first
is
PC
so
was a
hard,
bike
dog.
speed, dude.
Tell me how your just got so bad.
Oh shit.
Like you were hitting 80 degrees
Oh,
Celsius.
what?
Oh, yeah!
Wow.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
MVP. MVP.
He's like, I'm the owner of the channel. I take all with me.
No,
No
not
one's
even
allowed.
Scatterable. Stop hurting.
So a link to join the Scattervault Discord server will be linked below. And as always, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and all that. And this is the Scattervault channel, signing out.